Greetings. What's up? So, excuse the cut. I used a dull razor like a dumbass, and it kind of nicked me a little bit. It was dragging on my on my throat there. But anyway, I want to discuss something that I've thought about for years and years and years and years, and I've had many people ask me. It's about guitar. If you could have any company make you a signature guitar, what company would you go with? And what kind of specs would you want, right? So, years ago when I was a teenager, it was Kirk Hammett. That was, you know, that's what I loved. Kirk was my favorite guitar player. He still is. And I always told people back then, oh, dude, ESP. I had the KH202, the really crappy model. And I thought, you know, I would have the exact same odd sort of radius, like a 13.7 or something like that Kirk has. EMG active 8185s with original Floyd Rose and rosewood fretboard, ESP Godo tuners. I didn't even know what that was then. And that was my guitar. It would be what Kirk has with a different color, same body shape, and different inlays. And my inlays at the time were like pirate heads. That's what I wanted. I don't know why. I guess not to step on his skull and crossbones, right? So that was what I wanted. And then a few years later, I discovered Satriani and Steve Vai. And people were still asking me, hey man, what do you think? And I was like, probably Ibanez. And I had cheap Ibanez, and that's what I thought they used. I didn't know they used Japan. I would have like the RG body shape, and then have the radius of a Satriani, the 9.5 inch radius, with 24 frets, DiMarzio, whatever, deactivators at the time. That's what I wanted. I would have Godo tuners, original edge, or a Floyd Rose is how I put it. I didn't know that Ibanez had different trims then. And it would have been original edge, DiMarzio pickups, and then the volume and tone. Tone would be totally left out because I never used my tone control ever on my guitars. So that would be left out. Just a volume knob, move that down where my hand doesn't hit it. And I would have a maple fretboard, maple neck. Basically the same stuff that Steve and Joe had for their Ibanez's. Because, I was like, I want what they have because they're the best. And I didn't know how to design a guitar then. I just knew that playing the RG was what I liked at the time. And the 550 I have now is, if that wasn't an Ibanez model, that's what I would have chose. Without the square heel. I don't like the square heel all that much. I like the all access neck joint. But then I got heavily into Gibson, and I was like, I would have Gibson do it. Make me a Les Paul that has 24 frets and an ebony fretboard and one big ass slab of maple on top, and make it weigh like what I thought at the time, 13 pounds. Yeah, dude, I was so stupid. I played my standard for 5 years that weighed like 10. No. I love the lightweight guitars. Like Ibanez has some of the lightest stuff you would ever pick up, but they still sound amazing. I knew nothing about tone wood. As far as I was concerned, it could have been made out of plywood. I mean, whatever, or freaking press board or some shit like that. And I played, a bunch of different Jackson. I played a bunch of those. And I was like, I wouldn't have Jackson do it because they're basically super strats that were like an Ibanez. Schecter, I played a lot of those. They didn't really do much for me. And then Charvel was a a contender there for a while too, but I thought that's just a Strat on steroids, and Ibanez makes better necks. They do. And up to now, I have this JP Music Man. After owning this for almost a month now, I know for certain there is no, maybe I might do this. I know for certain that Music Man would be my company for my signature guitar. There is no question in my mind. If I could have one company make me a signature, it would be Music Man, and I would not think twice about it. So, what kind of features would I want? This is going to sound really, really like, wow, dude, really? Basically, I want everything that John has on his. The piezo, I want that. The floating tremolo system, I want that. DiMarzio pickups, not JP's DiMarzios. I would probably try to work out my own DiMarzios, but it would be DiMarzio's direct mount. No pickup rings. The roasted maple neck and fretboard, 24 frets, stainless steel frets all the way. But I can't use JP's inlays. That's the only thing I don't know what I would do on it, is my inlays. I really don't know. And the body would have to be different because, I don't want I don't want it to be JP's guitar with my name on it. That would be freaking sacrilege, dude. I can't play like that. Oh, and the radius too. The 17-inch radius is the magic number. Like, man, if you're a shredder and you like a flat neck, that is the neck. And there was a guy in Guitar Center when I bought the guitar. He was like, "Hey man, can I see that thing?" And I opened it for him and let him look at it, and he was like, "You will never find a better neck on any guitar than a Music Man neck." And I was like, I've always liked Ibanez, I've always loved the Wizard profile. But then I played this JP for the past almost month now. He is correct. There's something about that neck. It's super slick. Super slick. But I would have the Honduras mahogany body, the maple cap that's on top, or maple top, just like my JP here. I would have that 17-inch radius, the Schaller locking tuners, the piezo system, the floating trim, and stainless steel frets, 25.5-inch scale length. I see no reason to go any longer or any shorter of a scale. You might go longer if you're a down tune guy that plays like D standard all the time. You might want to go to a 26.5 or something, but I wouldn't do that. But the inlays, man, I really got to think about the inlays. Like, I don't know what I would do. I can't do anything that's trademarked, like Jason's mask or something like that. Shark fins, shark tooth inlays are played out. Everyone likes those. I'm thinking here right now. I'm thinking about what would I do? What would I do? I could do like an adult thing. Make like the the first 12 frets have a 6. And then from 13 to 24, reverse it and make it a 9. 69. That's so stupid. I wouldn't do that. I don't know. I think Nina Strauss probably has the coolest inlay idea ever, the EKG machine. And as you get higher on the neck, the EKG machine spikes like your heart's beating faster as you go up. That's so cool, and I wish that I would have gotten into a band and became known. So I could have done that. But that's not to take anything away from her idea, because that's so cool to me. If I ever do, maybe I could talk to her and be like, "Look here, could I do that too?" I'm not trying to steal from you or anything like that, but that's really cool. Hmm. Maybe I could have it like a radar, like a sonar radar. You know, you got one blip for one little sighting in the ocean or whatever for the first fret, and it just goes up. But how would you do the 24 double dots? I guess that might be pretty cool. I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? What kind of inlays should a player like me have? Maybe no inlays at all? Well, I've tried that before. I had a guitar, a Rusty Cooley signature that had no fretboard inlays, and dude, I was like, where am I half the time? Because I'm not one of those players that looks down at his dots on top of the neck. I'm not one of those guys. I would put that on my Music Man too. I would put Luminlay side markers that glow in the dark. Dude, I could do. Oh, dude, I got it. I could just make my inlays glow in the dark. I mean, I could have some dots or whatever. I don't care. Just make them glow in the dark where I can see. And then I would definitely have the volume boost or the gain boost that JP has on his. I would have that. I would have a coal split like him, but I would make it work on all positions just to get an even wider range of tones. But man, like I was thinking about it even today at work, and I was like, if I had a Music Man, it would basically be JP's Music Man with a couple little differences, and my body shape would have to be different. I don't know what my body shape would be. That would be something I'd have to discuss with their R&D team or whatever you call it, their engineers. I'd have to discuss that with them. Maybe they can help me. But man, I can't believe how far it's come from Kirk Hammett back in the day. I was diehard Kirk Hammett, and that was going to be my signature guitar. And I owned that 202, the cheap one. Well, let's not say cheap. Let's just say entry level Kirk Hammett signature. And I thought, this is awesome. I have Kirk's guitar. You know, it never held tune like his. I had two of them. They both had the same problem. They did not hold tune well at all. And the fretboard material was not what Kirk uses, apparently. I don't know for sure, but maybe. But then I got a White Zombie, the Kirk Hammett White Zombie. It's a 602 with the White Zombie horror movie graphic on it, which is a step up from the 202. And I thought, wow, this is like leaps and bounds from the 202. This is what I would do if I were to have one. It would be this guitar with a few differences. Then I got my first Ibanez. The weight was gone. It was nice and light. Everything was cool except for the volume knob placement on Ibanez is a little bit like, why they have to do that? So I just moved that down a little bit, take away the tone control, and then there we go. But then got into Gibson and had all these ideas about a Les Paul, but there's only so much they can do with a Les Paul to make it unique. Because you don't want to mess with a Les Paul. Les Pauls are iconic. And you don't want to bring out some Frankenstein Les Paul idea and be like, here's my Gibson. The purists would absolutely crucify you for that. But then I got my Satriani's, I got that one under the bed over here. I was like, I'd have this radius because that radius is nice. 9.5 inch. It feels like a Strat, Fender Strat. I played a couple of gems in my time. I've played two of them. They're weird. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I know the string spacing on those is a lot different than most Ibanez because it accommodates Steve's massively long fingers. And I think his is like a 16.9 inch radius. And I think too, he has the recessed tremolo. I wanted that so I could get that really high, bring the bar up, and make it go higher than any guitar out there. Maybe I could do that for my Music Man and steal that one from Steve. But now I have this JP, and dude, it's like my dream guitar. Everything about that guitar is amazing. It is performance ready. John knows what's up. And that's why I was like, Music Man would be my company, because if they were open to the ideas that John had and made a guitar that has lasted for what, 30 years almost, they'd be the one company that will do anything you want to make sure your guitar is what you want it to be. And they're the best there is. I have no problem saying that. I love Ibanez. I do. I have 3 of them. Well, Gunnar has my other JS, my nephew. But I do have 3. I have my Prestige, my 550, and my JS. And I love all of those guitars. I love my Gibson that's over here. But this Music Man has taken over for playing. I took it and played live with it twice already. Now, it's a family gathering. There was probably about 30, 40 people at these gatherings. And I still consider that a live event, like a live situation. And everybody that I play with, my cousins and our singer we're like, wow, that guitar is beautiful and it sounds amazing. And I let our singer play on it a little bit. And he was like, wow, that's like the best thing I've ever touched. What did you pay for this? And I told him. And he was like, you got that used? How much is a new one? And I told him about that, how much they cost. And he was like, my God. And then he stood there for a second and he was like, well, from what I feel on it, just by holding it and touching it and playing it, it's definitely worth the money. They have their stuff down pat. And everybody was raving about the musicians were raving about the piezo system and how you can have an acoustic through your electric and still play the way you would on your electric, but it sounds acoustic, and it's so cool for playing acoustic songs, which is what we were doing. We were playing country, like old classic country, and some new country with injections of southern rock. And this guitar, the JP15, did all of that flawlessly. You can achieve any sound you want. And just from playing it those 2 times live and sitting here in my room playing it, I was like, this is the company that I would go for. And for my signature, if I were to ever have one, and these specs are pretty much what I would want. It's crazy. And John was talking about when he designed that guitar, how we all sit here and be like, why can't this volume knob be moved? Or why can't the switches be in the right place with the arc of your arm when you're picking and playing? What's stopping us from doing that? Why can't you put piezo saddles on a guitar? And Music Man was the one that did all that for him. What is my mom doing in there? Okay, that's the dogs, I guess. She's playing with Wishbone. But yeah, like he said, why can't we do that? Why can't we have frets that last? In stainless steel frets, you're not going to need a refret or any fret leveling for a long time. And I really like that. I've never had a guitar with stainless steel frets, and I'd always wondered, are the people that are talking about these being so good, are they really that good? Or are these people paid to say these things? But after playing it, and I looked down the fretboard, the frets are perfectly level, perfectly crowned, and it has stayed that way. Through the hours I've put on it, and playing it live. And another thing about it too that I think is really cool, I don't know if this is just the wood, the what is it called? Roasted maple. I don't know if this has contributed to it, but the neck is super stable. I took it last Saturday, to play with my family and our family band, and it was almost 100 degrees outside. And the guitar is here. right in front of me in its case. And our house is probably 68 degrees. It's nice and cool in here. And I thought, man, when I get it out of the case over there and that heat hits it, oh my God, like it's gonna screw the neck up. I'm gonna have to adjust that when I get home. The neck stayed perfectly right where I set it the whole time, all night. And I was like, man, that's awesome. The only complaint, I have two complaints that I would change if, one complaint that I would change if I were to have a signature. I would use a satin finish because in the heat, playing the JP, where my arm sits to pick, you know, it got very sticky and it felt really strange taking my arm off the guitar, hit a big chord, and you feel your flesh kind of stuck to it a little bit. So I would use a satin finish, and I would finish the back of the neck in something where, because it got this really gritty feeling on the back of the neck. It was really strange. I don't know if that was just a humidity or whatever, but it wiped away with a cloth, no problem. But I thought, wow, man, I mean, I don't like that feeling, but it didn't hinder anything. So I would change that to make it to where maybe I'd do a satin neck on the back or something. But you can't have roasted maple if you do a satin neck. So, I don't know. But to wrap it up, Music Man is my new favorite brand. I love this guitar. And if I were to do a signature with any company, that's the one I'd go with. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and we'll talk at you in the next one.